Looking at women's Hinge profiles, the good edition. If you're a woman, make prompts like these, they're pretty damn good. If you're a man, make prompts like these, they're pretty damn good. Woman enjoying some drugas and a coffee in the park. Her prompt says, I'll pick the topic if you start the conversation. She goes out of her way to give us 3 options. 1, most embarrassing song on repeat, or that you know all the words to. This is already a pretty good start because no one likes factual exchange of rational information at the start of a convo. Hey, do you have any brothers? How's your day going? That type of stuff is just boring. We want lighthearted, fun, breath of fresh air type of convos, and this is really it. You instantly have to admit that you're listening to this super bad song. If I would have to respond to this right now, it would be... editor, help me out. What is the song like? What am I supposed to do when the best part of me was always you? Number 2, childhood celebrity crush. Cartoon and fictional characters acceptable. That's so good. Because am I now gonna say Natalie Portman, who I always had a crush on when I was still a virgin? Or do we go even younger, when you didn't really have an interest in real people, but then it was Funny from Kickaboo? And I know from TextGod co-founder and coach Dan, it is A18, that blonde sexy robot for Dragon Ball Z. And for Coach Matthijs, it's that nurse with the big boobs for Pokemon. Great way to start the conversation. Number 3, red, beige, and green flags. Also good, a lot of options. Are you gonna present yourself as Mr. Perfect by highlighting a green flag? Are you gonna go in the in-between zone with a beige flag? Or will you be honest and admit your red flags? Here's the next one, and this is a pretty good part. Excuse me, I think you're looking at the wrong part of the photo. Please focus on the text at the bottom. Typical Sunday, park picnic, or rotting in my bed. I think this is pretty good for 3 reasons. One, what people often do with dating apps is they try to present themselves in the best way possible, and research has been done and it shows that it's called selective self-presenting backfires. So what she's doing is like, hey, let's be honest guys, on a Sunday I probably smell like shit and I have a hangover and I'm just rotting in my bed. Second thing that I like about this, it's a short prompt. It's okay to have one longer prompt like we saw with the first girl, but the rest I would keep it short. People don't have time to read all this stuff all day, especially when they're hangover rotting in bed. And the third thing I like about it is the very big contrast. Park picnic, very romantic, wholesome, and the other one obviously very degenerate. Women, I know that a lot of you are into older guys, and that's completely fine. Some don't really dare to say it, some are ashamed about it, some just own up to it in a creative way. Learn from this woman. The one thing you should know about me, I suffer from a rare condition called OATOM. Only attracted to older men. This one's also pretty good, and guys, could you please focus on the text again? God damn! The one thing I'd love to know about you is... your spirit animal. Super, super, super good. I like it a lot. It's very easy for the guy now to have a conversation starter, even when they're not very creative, because now she allowed you to be creative with this little, I don't know the word in English, a little help. Secondly, you get in a light-hearted conversation. Again, no boring, predictable, factual stuff. Thirdly, what is good about this is a mentee of mine had a really good prompt where he said, hey, I can predict your future, or say this or that if you want me to predict your future. And a lot of women would text him, oh, what's my future? But then he had to always come up with these specific to their profile future predictions. And that's a lot of work. If you want to do that, sure. If you don't have the time, then you have a bit of a pickle. She solved this problem because she's not going to come up with anything. You're the one who has to come up with something. Woman on the beach. Her prompt says, I'm weirdly attracted to Jago from Ice Age. Kind of goes in line with the very first prompt that we saw where she said, hey, what was your childhood crush? And it's allowed to be a cartoon. Apparently, this girl still has a cartoon crush. I think this is pretty fun because any guy who's slightly more creative than the non-creative guys is going to share their own thing that they're weirdly attracted to, or they're gonna give her shit for being into Jago when Sid, is it Sid? Or that little squirrel were more fun, or blah, 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 blah. Overall, I'm weirdly attracted to, and then something is quite a good prompt when it's not something very predictable, like what she did, or something that's very specific. For some reason lately, I've seen a couple girls say I'm weirdly attracted to big noses. I also know a guy who's into big noses. I think that's pretty good because it's probably an insecurity of the men who have a big nose, and then they'll be instantly like, oh my god, she loves what I'm insecure about. This pretty much makes me perfect, and then you want to talk to this specific person. Either way, recently I made a video where I go over women's profiles and I point out a bunch of mistakes, things that are not good. These were things that were good. Steal what you like. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.